Hi, I'm Jay from Real Street Performance. Today we're going to talk about what new means when it comes to engine parts. So you've gotten through the planning stage, you've saved up your money, and you've purchased your parts, and you're excited. This thing's going to finally happen. You've got all these new components in front of you, and you haven't stopped to think about what new means in our community. New means it's never, ever worked before. You have to check everything. This past week we had a customer that had some pistons, and the pistons were all labeled correctly, but one of them was mysteriously small. He went through the trouble of putting the whole engine together only to have to take it back apart again. And at the end of the day, it's his responsibility to check everything. There was a period of time where you had to have $1,600 to buy some rods and $3,500 to buy a crank, and there was nothing as readily available and as inexpensive as everything is now. You have to understand that how extremely fortunate we all are to have the parts availability, the widespread selection. You typically don't have to wait on custom components. There's shelf pistons and shelf rods and valves available and head gaskets and all different thicknesses, and you can order them today, and most of the time they're on their way to you. So, you know, with all this availability and all these parts sitting on different shelves in different warehouses, you have the one part, the 1 out of 1,000, the 1 out of 10,000 that had a manufacturing error. And while the manufacturers do a tremendously great job of controlling their error, you don't want to be the guy that gets stuck with that one. So I plead, I stress, I beg you to take your time, just touch and look at and scope and examine everything that you have. If you don't have the proper equipment, pay a machine shop to do it. The only thing that you can kind of drop concern for in these types of situations is many of you are buying coated bearings. Sometimes you'll get a very fine scratch in the coating. It has no effect on how the bearing will function. It's simply a cosmetic thing. And again, going back to the relatively low cost and high availability of these parts, if they packaged those components differently, it would just raise the price. So the bearings are the only thing that can kind of slide on, you know, a good visual inspection. You have to do these things to avoid having to go back into an engine for the second time because you didn't mock it up. So in closing, this is a critical step. You know, again, you've saved your money, you've planned your build, you've purchased the parts. I know you're excited to get it together, but between getting the parts and putting it together, add a step. That step is always mock it up. Always go through everything before you put it in the engine, because once it's in the engine, you've used it. And again, it's never ever worked before. These are all new components. So please, please, please take the time, check it twice, measure it twice, assemble it once, and enjoy it for a long time. Thanks. I'll see you next week.